Hey, what's up everybody? This is C.L.S. All-in-One. In this video, I'll show you how to replace a drive belt on a Frigidaire Affinity washing machine. This method will work for the model number listed on the screen, but this may also work with other models and brands of washing machines as well. So my washing machine a while back stopped spinning. It would power up just fine and even fill with water, but oddly, I had no error codes. So I decided to start taking it apart to inspect what the issue could be, and discovered I had a damaged drive belt. So the first step before attempting to make any repairs is to unplug the machine. Next, located on the back of the machine is an access panel with 6 Phillips screws. Go ahead and remove these screws, then remove the panel. So here's a look at the inside of the back of the washing machine, where we can clearly see the drum, drive pulley, drive belt, and drive motor. So I ended up with a very strange issue with my washer. The drive belt became damaged due to normal wear and tear, and small sections of the belt began ripping off, which then snagged the wire harness for the drive motor, which then wrapped around the drive motor pulley. But luckily, this did not damage the wire harness, and I was able to just unwrap the harness and plug it back into the drive motor. Now, more than likely, you'll probably not end up with an issue like this. Usually when a drive belt goes bad, it starts slipping because of being worn or stretched out, or it just completely rips in half, causing the drum to no longer spin. To remove the drive belt if it's still intact, it's usually fairly easy, especially if it's older. As shown here, I'm able to remove this belt with just one hand, which is also a sign this belt has been stretched out because it's pretty loose. Now if the belt seems nice and tight and does not slip when manually turning the larger drive pulley, and has no visible damage, then your belt is probably just fine and there's no need to replace it. To figure out which drive belt you need for replacement, you can usually just use the numbers on the existing belt for a part number match, or use the washing machine make and model numbers, which is located on the inside of the front door on this machine. And belts such as these can be found on many sites, including eBay and Amazon. Here's a look at the new and old drive belts. The new one is on the inside of the older one, and you can see clearly here the new one is quite a bit smaller. In fact, so much smaller, it's hard to believe it actually fits. To install this drive belt, I'll be using 2 heavy-duty zip ties, which will hold the belt in place while rotating the drive pulley. The belt wraps around the drive motor pulley and also sits inside some grooves that help keep the belt secured in place. Then the belt wraps around the larger drive pulley, which is connected to the drum. If you were to try to install a belt such as this without the use of zip ties, it would just simply keep slipping off. And that's where the zip ties become useful, because they lock the belt in place to keep it from slipping while installing. So I will place the first zip tie around the drive belt, located right by one of the arms on the pulley, and make sure the zip tie is nice and tight. Then I will place the second zip tie around the belt right by the next pulley arm. Again, making sure the zip ties are really tight because there's going to be a lot of tension on these ties. So now I have 2 zip ties that are locking the belt to the drive pulley. Now it's time for me to realign the belt around the drive motor pulley, then start turning the drive pulley by hand. Now during this step, it'd be a good idea to wear some protective gloves, which I did not, because there's going to be a lot of tension on this belt, which can pinch or harm your hands, so be careful during this step. So as shown here, you can see that there is so much tension on this belt that it still slipped off in between the 2 zip ties, but this will still work. But if you wanted to, you could add a third zip tie in between these 2 ties before starting for a little extra strength. Now I will go ahead and cut the zip tie that is closest to the drive pulley. Then turn the drive pulley a little more and cut the second zip tie. And if you listen closely to the sound, you can really hear how much tension is being held by this zip tie. Now that the belt is fully on, I will turn the drive pulley a full rotation and make sure it's aligned correctly on both pulleys. And everything looks good, so it's time for a test. And we have success. Now all that's left is to stop the machine, unplug the power, and screw the back cover back in place. Okay, it's now time for me to go. Hopefully this video will help you out with your drive belt replacement on your washing machine. If you liked this video, if you could hit that like button and please subscribe. And have yourself a great day, and I'll see you next time.